Hello everyone. Okay, so today we are going to begin the chapter number 7 of our class 8 history, that is civilizing the native and educating the nation. So we have just completed our chapter number 6 in the last video, and today we are going to begin this chapter. Okay, so today I am going to cover the topic till how the British saw education means till here. Okay, and okay, so this before wasting time, let's begin this topic. Okay, now let's begin with the heading's name. So we know educating the nation. What means educating the nation? Educating the nation means to educate the country, nation, to the India, obviously, as we are studying Indian history, right? Then civilizing the native. What does civilizing the native means? First of all, the term native means some person belongs to a particular country. That person will be known as the native of that country. Okay, so if I born in India and I lived here too, so I am the native of India. Okay, so that is what native term refers to. And civilizing means to make people, socially good and socially acceptable among people. That does simply means that one should have, if one should having etiquette and one should not having etiquette, then the one who's having etiquettes will be the civilized one, and the other one who does not have will be known as the non-civilized one, which has etiquettes, which has a mannerful way to speak and live, and total proper lifestyle, good lifestyle. That is what civilizing means. Okay, let's begin now. So in this chapter we are going to study about the civilizing the natives, how Britishers wanted, what this was the motto of Britishers. Okay, so it is telling about that Britishers did not just want a territorial conquest. Territorial means to conquer the territory, some territory. They didn't want just that. They also wanted, they had a mission, a cultural mission, which was named as civilizing the natives. Okay, and educating the nation. So basically educating the nation, we are going to study in this chapter the how Britishers brought education in India, and how did they promoted education in India, and what education they were giving, was that good or bad for people and all stuff. And we are also going to study about the English education which came in India, and the proposals to this and the against to this, all stuff. Okay, so let's begin this paragraph, right? So first of all, it is telling that in the previous chapters what we simply study about that the how the British rule, how the colonial rule affected Rajas, Nawabs, peasants and tribals. Okay, but in this chapter we are going to study about that how it affected the lives of students. Okay, students who were studying at that time, students who were attaining education at that time, and when British rule came, how did they face problems, what problems they faced, what difficulties they were having, and all stuff. Okay, now for the British in India wanted only, not only wanted a territorial conquest, control over revenues. They just don't wanted a territorial conquest, as I told you before, and just don't want to control the revenues of a particular state or territory. Okay, they also felt that they had a cultural mission, that they had to civilize the natives, change their customs and values. As I told you that it is a colonial rule, right? So in the first chapter we have studied about what is colonialism. In that we studied that colonialism is a type of government in which the government, the outer one who has conquered the country, can change people's lives socially, economically, culturally, and ritually, and all, from each and every aspect of his life. Okay, so that is why now there's a cultural mission they got, civilize the natives and to change their customs and values, right? Now let's get to the next thing, that what changes were to be introduced, how were Indians to be educated, civilized, and made into what the British believed were good subjects. The British could find no simple answers to these questions. They continued to be debated for many decades. So first it is telling, so to educate the India or to civilize the Indians, what changes should be introduced? Okay, and how Indians will be educated or civilized and made into what British believed were good subjects. Okay, so these questions, the answer to this question was very complicated for Britishers, and they were not able to find the answers, and that is why on these two questions, on these such on this topic, a lot of debate has been continued in years at that time, many decades. Okay, decades means group of 10 years. Okay, now how the British saw education. Now, what was the point of view of education for Britishers? How did they see education? What was the definition of education for them? Let us look at what the British thought and did, and how some of the ideas of education that we now take for granted evolved in the last 200 years. Okay, so for there are a lot of things which are now is common for us, but at that time it took a really very hard time for people, and people have studied about this from a really long time, since a long time, and then they concluded a particular, then they concluded some idea of education, and those ideas of education are very common for now. We don't even know the history behind those ideas. Okay, so that is what it is telling, that some of the ideas also took 200 years. In the process of this inquiry, we will also see how Indians reacted to British ideas. Okay, and how they developed their own views about how Indians were to be educated. Okay, so we are also going to study about that, how what was the point of view of Britishers, to that how they see Indians and how they think that Indians will be educated, and also we will also see the Indians reaction towards each and every idea or inquiry related to the education made by the Britishers. Were the reactions of Indians was good or bad, or whatever it is, we will be get to know in this chapter. Okay, I hope you got this. If you have any kind of question, any kind of doubt, please mention in the comment section, and so that I can answer your all questions and clear your doubts. Thank you. Have a good day.